In 2001, my cousin Larry gets a hold of me on a Saturday, tells me he wants me to come up to his house this afternoon, and wants to talk to me about something. So I go up there, and we end up getting in his car and going into town to the fire department. We go to his office, and he's showing me some things on the computer, and I'm sitting there thinking, and I've told this story before in a previous video, like last fall, but I'm sitting there thinking when we're in his office, he didn't get me all the way down here in his office at the fire department just to show me some stuff on the computer. Something's going on here. I've been accused of something. And he was an arson investigator. He did have the power to arrest people. And well, eventually, not long after I started thinking that, he's like, now Tracy, I got to talk to you about something serious. See, there was a trailer a couple of doors down from where my parents lived. And matter of fact, if you can see there's like a building there with some cars. That's not my property. That belongs to my uncle right there. But that's about where his trailer's set. And there's my trailer up that way, if you can see it through the trees there. But this guy's trailer sit back here by the edge of the woods. And anyway, I didn't know it. Unbeknownst to me, he had rented his trailer out to a girl. She was a young girl, but she was single, but she had kids. And I just thought it was, I did see her once, but I just thought it was some girl down there. Maybe it was a girlfriend of the guy that lived in the trailer. But I didn't know that he had rented his trailer out to her, and he was living with his parents, and their house used to be up that way too, but it's gone now. It's been torn down. Their house was about where my trailer sits. My parents' house, my childhood home, was on the other side. And so, anyway, he told me that my cousin Larry told me that someone had broken into this trailer that this girl was renting out. And that they got in her bedroom, and first of all, they pried the back door open with a crowbar. Then they got in the trailer and went in her bedroom and stole some of her clothes, like a nightgown and some underpants. Like, I think he said it was thong underwear. And they masturbated on the bed, whoever it was. And they left. And my cousin Larry says, they're thinking that maybe you did it. Other words, me, Tracy, did it. Which wasn't true. I'd never been in that trailer either as a invited guest, nor had I ever broken or entered my way in that trailer. I think, I don't know who did it, but it wasn't me. I've never been in that trailer. And then he said, well, there was a boy named Josh, and he would have been about 15 years old at the time. But he was one of the kids that a few years earlier who had caught me caught me wearing shorts and pantyhose down here on the trail a couple of times. Once in September of '94, once in March of '95. And this boy, Josh, I guess he told the sheriff's department or the state police or whoever, because the city police didn't come out this way. He had told them that he had seen me on the trails. And this was in 2000, mind you, the year 2000. He said, this boy, Josh, said he'd seen you on the trails 2 times in the last 6 months wearing black leotards. And of course that wasn't true. I wasn't even really cross-dressing during that time in 2000. And I told Larry, I said, that's not true. He didn't see me 2 times in the last 6 months wearing leotards on the trail. Now he did see me wearing pantyhose and shorts on the trail once in '94 and again in '95, but the most recent time that he would have seen me would have been in March of '95, and that was over 5 years ago. So no, he did not see me on the trails wearing black leotards twice in the last 6 months. And so we kind of got that straightened up. Then he said, well, they got DNA samples of whoever masturbated on this bed. And I said, well, it wasn't me. I said, I'll even provide you with DNA samples to prove it's not me. And of course, I don't know if you guys know it or not, but that's a tactic that police will sometimes use. They'll let on like they know more than they do to try to get a confession out of you. So when he said they have DNA samples, I don't know if they did or not. Maybe they did. He might have been saying that to get me to spill the beans and, yeah, I did it. It was me. But no, I didn't do it. I really didn't do it. And so, and I told him I'll even provide a DNA sample. And he said, nah, I don't think that'll be necessary. We just had to clear you as a suspect. So they cleared me as a suspect. And, and then after we got through talking about that, we just sat there and made some conversation. And he was asking me about the time I cross-dressed in town and almost got arrested. And I told him all about that story. And then I made a big mistake because I was in the closet with my cross-dressing. Actually, I wasn't cross-dressing during that time, but I had been before a lot. Wearing pantyhose and cross-dressing. And so I told him that, when I used to cross-dress, I told him I'm not cross-dressing anymore. But I told him that after I almost got arrested in town, and cross-dressed like I was, I said I quit doing it for a while, but then I started up doing it again in different cities. There were a couple different cities that I went to outside of my hometown. And they were actually bigger than my hometown, those cities. And I shouldn't have told him that, because if I was in the closet and wanted to keep my cross-dressing in the closet, I should have never told this guy that. Obviously. It just goes without saying. It was kind of a boneheaded move on my part to tell him that after I nearly got arrested that time, that I started cross-dressing in different cities. And I even told him all about wearing shorts and pantyhose on the trails down here. And I don't know why I did that if I wanted to keep it in the closet. That was not a smart move on my part. I kind of brought the trouble that followed on myself. But anyway, maybe a couple of months after telling all this to this guy, Larry, in his office at the fire department, my brother comes down. Same brother who talked to me in '96 after I got busted, almost arrested, cross-dressed. Well, he comes down and asks me, are you cross-dressing again? Because Larry's been telling people that you cross-dress, and nowadays you go around to different cities and do it. And of course, I wasn't cross-dressing at the time, but I did go to different cities, cross-dressed up until I quit in '99. And I said, no, I don't know. He's just making that up. I didn't really do anything like that. And